Hey Aries, I just finished doing your reading and honestly I need to share this with you right away because the energy here is something else. So I sat down with my deck and I asked specifically about this situation where someone is clearly still holding on to you and you have been very firm with your boundaries. And the cards that came through are telling such a specific story that I think you are going to recognize this energy immediately. Let me just dive right in because I pulled the Four of Cups first and this card alone is already speaking volumes about what is happening here. When I see the Four of Cups in this context, I am looking at someone who has been offered so much from you, Aries. Like genuinely so much of your time, your energy, your presence, and they have been sitting there in this state of contemplation or maybe even dissatisfaction. You know that energy where someone has three cups right in front of them representing everything you have given, everything you have been, and they are still looking away from it like it is not enough. They have been in this space of taking you for granted and now that you have said no, now that you have established your boundary, they are suddenly realizing what they had right there all along. The Four of Cups is showing me that this person has been emotionally withdrawn or distant while they had access to you. They might have been the type to always be looking for something else, something more, never fully appreciating what was right in front of them. But here is where it gets interesting, Aries. Because that fourth cup being offered by the hand from the cloud, that represents the new opportunity, the new perspective, and right now that cup is your absence. Urano has become that fourth cup they cannot ignore anymore. They are being forced to see what they lost because you removed yourself from their field of vision. I want you to understand something really important here. This person got comfortable with your presence. They got comfortable with the idea that you would always be there, always be available, always be the one putting in effort. The Four of Cups energy is about complacency and they were absolutely complacent in how they treated this connection with you. Moving forward, I pulled the Ten of Pentacles and Aries. This is where the reading gets really intense because this card is about legacy, family, long-term security, and established wealth. When I see this card in a reading about someone holding on to you, I am seeing that this person views you as someone who represents stability and long-term potential in their life. This is not just a casual connection for them. This is someone who sees you as part of their future structure, their foundation, their sense of security. The Ten of Pentacles shows me that this person has been envisioning a whole life with you. They see you as the person who could help them build something substantial, something lasting. There is an energy here of family dynamics too. So either they have been thinking about you in terms of meeting their family, being part of their family structure, or they see you as someone who would be an incredible parent or partner in building a family of your own together. But here is the thing that the Ten of Pentacles is revealing. This person has been treating you like you are already locked in, like you are already committed to this vision they have created in their head. They have taken this connection for granted because in their mind, you are already part of their established structure. They have not been putting in the work to actually build this with you. They have just been assuming it would be there because they decided it would be there. When I look at the Ten of Pentacles in relation to Urano, I am seeing that your boundary has shaken their entire sense of security. You are not just another person to them, you represent their idea of stability, success, and long-term happiness. Losing access to you feels like watching their entire future plan crumble because you were such a central part of how they imagined their life unfolding. The Five of Swords comes next, and this card is honestly one of the most telling in your reading because it is about conflict, defeat, and hollow victories. When I pulled this card, I immediately felt that there has been some kind of power struggle or argument between you and this person. The Five of Swords shows someone who might have won the battle but lost the war. They might have gotten their way in certain arguments, they might have made their point, they might have even hurt you in the process. But now they are standing there holding these swords and realizing that winning the argument meant losing you. There is a very specific energy with the Five of Swords about someone who fights dirty or uses words as weapons. This person may have said things they cannot take back, may have crossed lines in communication, may have been manipulative or cruel in how they tried to maintain control over the situation. But what they did not account for was that you, Aries, have a limit. You have a point where you say enough is enough and you walk away, and they have reached that point with you. I am also seeing with the Five of Swords that this person might be experiencing a lot of regret right now about how they handled conflicts with you. They are looking back at those moments where they could have chosen love, could have chosen understanding, could have chosen compromise, and instead they chose to be right. They chose to win. They chose their ego. And now they are dealing with the consequences of those choices. Your NO in this context is you refusing to engage in their battlefield anymore. You are not playing their games. You are not entertaining their manipulation. You are not allowing them to wound you with their words anymore. The Five of Swords is showing that they are still standing there with their weapons, but you have left the arena entirely, and that is devastating to them because their tactics no longer work when you are not present to receive them. Now I pulled the King of Pentacles, and this is fascinating because this card represents someone who is mature, established, successful, and grounded in the material world. When I see the King of Pentacles in relation to someone holding onto you, I am seeing a few possible layers here. First, this could be describing this person themselves, meaning they are someone who is successful, who has their life together on paper, who appears stable and secure. They might be someone who is doing well financially or professionally, someone who presents themselves as having it all figured out. But there is another layer to the King of Pentacles that is really important. This person sees you as someone who enhances their status, their success, their image. You being with them makes them look good, makes them feel more complete, makes them feel like they have achieved something valuable. There is a possessive quality to how they view you because the King of Pentacles is very much about ownership and having valuable things in their kingdom. The King of Pentacles is someone who builds empires, and they see you as a crucial part of their empire. They do not want to let you go because losing you feels like losing an asset, losing a piece of their success story, losing something that makes them who they are. This might sound cold, and it kind of is. Because while there may be genuine feelings involved, there is also this element of them valuing you for what you bring to their life rather than valuing you as a complete person separate from them. Your boundary, your NO, has disrupted their sense of control. The King of Pentacles likes to be in charge, likes to have everything in its proper place, likes to manage and direct their kingdom. You removing yourself from their kingdom is not part of their plan, and they are struggling with that loss of control. The Six of Swords appears next, and this card is so significant because it is literally the card of transition. Moving away, leaving behind turbulent waters for calmer shores. When I see the Six of Swords in your reading, Aries, I am seeing that you have already made the decision to move on. You have already gotten in that boat, and you are already traveling away from whatever this situation was. The Six of Swords is not a card of impulsive running away. It is a card of conscious, deliberate transition towards something better. What is really interesting is that the Six of Swords shows a figure in a boat with their back turned, moving away from rough waters toward peaceful waters on the horizon. This is exactly what you have done by saying no. You recognize that staying in that situation was keeping you in choppy, difficult waters, and you made the choice to move toward peace, toward clarity, toward calmer emotional territory. The person who is holding onto you is standing on the shore watching you sail away. They can see that you are leaving. They can see that you have made your choice, and they are desperate to call you back, to convince you to turn the boat around, to get you to stay in those rough waters with them. But you have got a guide with you in that boat. Whether that is your own inner wisdom, your spirit guides, or your higher self, and that guide is helping you navigate toward better circumstances. I am also seeing with the Six of Swords that this transition period might feel melancholic or sad even though you know it is the right choice. You might be grieving what you hope this could have been while simultaneously feeling relief and peace about moving away from what it actually was. That is completely normal and valid. The Six of Swords acknowledges that leaving is not always easy even when it is necessary. The Eight of Swords came through next, and initially, when I pulled this card, I was surprised because the Eight of Swords is typically about feeling trapped, bound, unable to see options. But then I realized this card is describing how this person is trying to make you feel, or how they themselves are feeling about the situation. Let me explain both layers because they are both present in this energy. First, this person may have been contributing to you feeling trapped or limited in some way. The Eight of Swords shows someone who is blindfolded and bound, surrounded by swords, standing in water, seemingly unable to move. If this person was manipulative, controlling, or restrictive in how they treated you, they may have been creating this Eight of Swords environment where you felt like you could not leave, could not speak up, could not make your own choices freely. They may have used guilt, obligation, fear, or emotional manipulation to keep you feeling bound to them. But here is the truth about the Eight of Swords that they clearly do not understand. The bindings are loose, the blindfold can be removed, and the person has the ability to free themselves at any time. You recognize this, Aries. You saw through the illusion of being trapped, and you freed yourself. Your no was you removing the blindfold, untying the bindings, and stepping out of those swords. The second layer is that they are now in the Eight of Swords energy. They feel trapped by their own choices, their own actions, their own patterns. They cannot see a way forward without you. They feel bound by the consequences of how they treated you. They are standing in their own mental and emotional prison, unable to figure out how to fix what they broke, unable to see the path forward, unable to free themselves from the regret and loss they are experiencing. The Knight of Swords is next, and this card has such powerful, swift energy. The Knight of Swords is about rapid movement, direct communication, intellectual pursuit, and sometimes aggressive or forceful energy. In the context of someone holding onto you and your no still meaning yo, I am seeing this as how this person is approaching the situation now that you have established your boundary. The Knight of Swords suggests that this person is not backing off quietly. They are pursuing you intellectually, mentally, trying to find the right words, the right arguments, the right logic to convince you to change your mind. They might be sending messages, trying to debate with you, trying to rationalize or explain or justify their behavior. The Knight of Swords does not give up easily, and they do not take rejection well because they believe they can think their way into or out of any situation. There is an urgency with the Knight of Swords too. This person is not sitting back patiently waiting for you to come around. They are actively, aggressively trying to reach you, trying to break through your boundaries, trying to find a crack in your armor where they can insert their words and change your mind. They might be showing up unexpectedly, reaching out through different channels, enlisting mutual friends to speak on their behalf. Anything to maintain some kind of connection or communication with you. But here is what the Knight of Swords does not always understand. Speed and force and clever words are not the same as genuine change, real accountability, or authentic growth. They can talk at you all day long, but if the fundamental issues have not been addressed, if they have not done the internal work, if they have not actually transformed their behavior, then their pursuit is just noise. Your boundary needs to remain firm against this Knight of Swords energy, because they will use every intellectual trick, every emotional argument, every logical fallacy to try to get you to doubt yourself, doubt your decision, doubt your right to say no. Do not let their words create confusion about what you know to be true in your heart. The Knight of Wands shows up next, and this is interesting because now we have two knights in your reading, both representing different types of energy this person is bringing. While the Knight of Swords is about mental pursuit and intellectual arguments, the Knight of Wands is about passion, enthusiasm, adventure, and impulsive action. This person is throwing everything at the wall hoping something will stick. The Knight of Wands is showing me that this person is being very dramatic in their pursuit of you right now. They are making grand gestures, bold statements, passionate declarations. They might be promising to change, promising adventure, promising excitement, promising that things will be different this time. The Knight of Wands is all about that fiery energy of someone who is swept up in their feelings and acting impulsively based on those feelings. There is a charm to the Knight of Wands energy. I will not lie. This is the person who shows up with flowers, who writes you love letters, who tells you that you are the one they cannot live without, who paints this picture of an amazing future full of passion and excitement if you will just give them another chance. They know how to be romantic, how to be compelling, how to sweep someone off their feet. But the Knight of Wands is also immature and inconsistent. This knight rides fast but does not always have staying power. The enthusiasm burns bright but can burn out just as quickly. The promises are sincere in the moment they are made but are not always followed through because the Knight of Wands is more about the thrill of the chase than the commitment of the catch. I am seeing that you have probably experienced this pattern with this person before, Aries. They have probably made promises, been intensely present for a period of time, swept you up in their energy, and then just as quickly cooled off or pulled back or reverted to old patterns. The Knight of Wands does not have the maturity of the kings or the consistent devotion of the queens. They are still learning, still growing, still figuring out who they are. Uranus needs to stand firm against this Knight of Wands energy as well, because passion and promises are beautiful, but they need to be backed up by consistent action and genuine growth over time. You deserve more than someone who can perform intensity for a few weeks before returning to the same patterns that hurt you in the first place. The Three of Pentacles comes through, and this card is about collaboration, teamwork, skill building, and recognition. In the context of your reading, the Three of Pentacles is showing me that this person finally recognizes your value. They finally see the skills, the qualities, the contributions you bring. The Three of Pentacles often shows people working together on a project, each bringing their unique expertise, and there is mutual respect and recognition of what each person brings to the table. This person is realizing that you were not just a presence in their life. You were an active contributor. You were building something with them, bringing your talents, your energy, your insight, your support. The Three of Pentacles shows someone who is skilled and valuable, and they are finally seeing that about you now that you are gone. There is also an element with the Three of Pentacles of wanting to collaborate again, wanting to work together, wanting to be on the same team. This person might be approaching you with energy of wanting to rebuild, wanting to show you that they see your worth now, wanting to demonstrate that they can be a better partner or collaborator moving forward. But the Three of Pentacles requires mutual respect, mutual effort, mutual recognition. It is not enough for them to suddenly see your value after you have walked away. The time to recognize, appreciate, and respect you was when you were actively there, actively contributing, actively building with them. You cannot build a solid structure with someone who only values the bricks after the wall has already crumbled. Finally, I pulled the Six of Cups and Aries. This card is so loaded with meaning that I need to take my time with it because it is revealing something really important about why this person is holding onto you so tightly and why your NO is so hard for them to accept. The Six of Cups is the card of nostalgia, childhood, innocence, and past connections. When I see this card in relation to someone who cannot let you go, I am seeing that this person is heavily caught up in the memory of you, the idea of you, the past with you. They are romanticizing what was. They are looking back at the good times. They are holding on to the version of this connection that exists in their memory rather than dealing with the reality of what it has become. There is a beautiful innocence to the Six of Cups, but there is also a refusal to exist in present reality. This person wants to go back, wants to recapture what was, wants to live in the golden glow of memories rather than doing the hard work of growth and change that would be required to create something new and healthy moving forward. The Six of Cups can also indicate that there is genuine love here. Genuine care, genuine positive history between you and this person. I am not saying that everything was terrible or that there was nothing real between you. The Six of Cups acknowledges that there were genuinely beautiful moments, that there was real affection, that there is history worth remembering. But loving someone and being right for someone are not always the same thing. This person is holding on to you for dear life because you represent happiness to them, comfort to them, a time when things felt easier or better or more hopeful. Losing you feels like losing access to that feeling, that energy, that version of themselves who was happier when they had you. But you cannot be responsible for someone else's happiness, Aries. You cannot be their source of light when they refuse to develop their own inner light. The Six of Cups in this reading is validating that what you shared was real and meaningful, but it is also showing that this person is stuck in the past rather than growing into the future. Your NO means no because you recognize that you cannot build a healthy future with someone who only wants to live in memories. You deserve someone who is present with you now, who is excited about creating new memories, who is willing to grow and evolve rather than just trying to recreate what was. So when I look at all 10 cards together, here is what I am seeing about your situation. This person who is holding on to you desperately is someone who took you for granted when they had you. Someone who sees you as crucial to their stability and future plans. Someone who fought with you in destructive ways and is now regretting those battles. Someone who values you for what you add to their life and their status. Someone you have consciously moved away from toward better circumstances. Someone who may have made you feel trapped or controlled. Someone who is now pursuing you with both intellectual arguments and passionate gestures. Someone who finally recognizes your value and wants to rebuild, and someone who is caught up in nostalgia for what you shared together. But your no still means no. Your boundary still stands. And it needs to continue standing because none of these cards are showing me that this person has actually done the internal work required to be different, to be better, to be what you deserve. They want you back. Absolutely. They miss you. Definitely. They recognize your value. Finally. They see what they lost. Clearly. But wanting someone and being ready to treat them right are completely different things. You set your boundary for a reason, Aries. You said no for a reason. You walked away for a reason. Trust those reasons. Trust your intuition. Trust your experience with this person. Someone holding on to you tightly does not mean you are obligated to stay within their grasp. Someone refusing to accept your no does not mean you need to change your answer to accommodate their feelings. I just want to validate that standing firm in your boundary might be hard, especially when this person is pulling out all the stops to try to change your mind. The passionate gestures, the intellectual arguments, the promises of change, the nostalgia, the reminder of good times, all of it can create doubt or guilt or confusion. But I need you to remember that you made this decision from a place of self-respect and self-preservation, and those are incredibly valid reasons to maintain a boundary regardless of how much someone wishes you would not. Your no is complete. It does not need explanation, justification, or defense. It does not need to be softened, qualified, or reconsidered just because the other person is not accepting it. Their inability to hear your no, their refusal to respect your boundary, their desperation to hold on to you, those are their issues to work through, not your responsibility to fix. I really hope this reading brought you some clarity and validation about what you are experiencing right now. The cards are absolutely confirming that someone is holding on to you very tightly, that they are not accepting your boundary easily, that they are trying everything they can think of to change your mind. But the cards are also confirming that you have every right to maintain your no, that you have made a conscious choice to move toward better circumstances, and that you deserve to have your boundaries respected, regardless of how someone else feels about them. Stay strong in your decision, Aries. Your future self will thank you for having the courage to walk away from what was not serving you, even when it was hard, even when someone else wanted you to stay.